we'll cover it here in just a second, but we're very excited. We've got some interesting candidates and some interesting things to talk about. And so we'll go ahead. If you could hit the next slide, please. We have someone with their hand up. Already. Goodness gracious. Hang on just a second.
AF, do you have a question?
All right. Not hearing anyone. Okay. Not hearing anybody. We'll continue on. Hey, for those of y'all that don't know me, my name is Marcus Jones. I'm the chair of the party, and we are very excited to have y'all here today. And we're excited to have everyone on the hub call. We want to get to the meat of what we're going to talk about. So, next slide, please. Get rid of my picture for sure. For those of y'all that are not familiar with what this is our All Democrats monthly call. This is our opportunity to meet together, to put out information, to highlight candidates, to highlight issues that are happening across the state, to talk about our county parties, and we're really excited to do that. Really quick history on this. This started as a monthly online meeting, and it was originally put together by Senator Mark Pryor. This was a chance for Democrats that are sometimes in places where there aren't a lot of us, to talk with folks from across the state, even to talk with some independents, and to discuss Arkansas politics, issues, candidates, current events, initiatives, and this became a bigger project than Senator Pryor and a group of volunteers were able to manage. And so, in working with us as the party, we took this on and brought this in-house to the party, and we use this as our opportunity every month to connect with y'all, to highlight our candidates, give a chance for them to talk to folks from all across the state, as well as opportunity for us to talk about what we're doing as a party, what some county parties are doing as well. So that's how this happened, and why we call it the hub. And we're always thankful for the Senator Pryor, and his team for everything they did to get it to this point, for us to take it over. So always thanks to him. Next slide, please. A few things to talk about. We've been in the news in a couple of different places. Obviously, our governor has announced that we are #1 in religious liberty. As I understand it, this was something of an invented award that was presented to the state, and again, our response back to that was, we're while we may be #1 in religious liberty, we ran at the bottom of just about every measurable index. 49th in wages, 49th in healthcare, 47th in overall educational attainment, and our goal is obviously, again, I believe in like all of us, we believe in religious liberty. We steadfastly support the First Amendment, but we ought to be putting our interest and our efforts into what is going to have a positive outcome. So we were in the news a little bit for that over the course of the last month. Next slide, please. And some great news, just so everyone is familiar, down in Senate District 1, which is down in Southeast Arkansas, the Senator Ben Gilmore resigned last month. He had made the decision that he was going to go back and work for the Attorney General, and that created a vacancy in that position and created a special election. We had not previously had anyone running in that race, but these special elections, they always present some real opportunities for all of us, and real opportunities for us to make some headway, maybe where we hadn't anticipated before. And Eudora Mayor Tomeka Butler, she is our candidate. and she filed last week to run as a Democrat in that Senate District 1 race. I will tell you that the deadline for that race was noon on Thursday, and she and I walked into the Secretary of State's elections office for her to file at 11:58. But we did get in there. She is filed. I would ask everybody here to take a moment, dig into her campaign. And I would also ask every one of you, because she's taking on a heavy load for us, running in a race that's really only going to be about a little over 100 days. We all need to throw in and do what we can to support. We're working very hard to make sure she's connected with stakeholders, uh, especially in the first district, but also across the state, as she's carrying the banner for us. And so we're excited to make this announcement, and we give her absolute thanks for doing this, and agreeing to represent the party and running this special election. Next slide, please. That's us, me thanking her for what she's doing. Um, Next slide as well. All right. We have been working towards this, and getting a new voter file manager on board. And so, in only his second day, we are excited to introduce our new voter file manager, Abbie Lane. Um, Abbie is coming to us. He's originally from North Carolina, and he comes to us with a lot of county party experience, some state party experience, as well as he's been working in the campaign and election space for a while. He's both had worked as a consultant. He's worked with Civitech, if y'all are familiar with Civitech, and he has he brings a lot of experience to what we're doing, so we're very excited to have him. A little more on his background is that he holds both a bachelor's in political science and a master's in public administration, and he is a recent transplant to Arkansas, and is really just recently arrived. He is also a dog lover, and that's something he and I have talked about and share in common. So he brought his family and four dogs to here, and he's only been here a short period of time. So I'm going to turn it over to him real quick to introduce himself. And this is important because from now on, everybody who used to call and check and look for Austin, now you need to call and look for Abbie. So Abbie, if you would, please, sir.
All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Marcus, can you hear me okay?
It helps if I'm not on mute, but yeah, we got you.
Okay. Just making sure. So yeah, like Marcus was saying, I'm Abbie. I've been here 1 month now, with my husband Rob and our four rescue dogs. So I'm still learning my way around, and so don't be surprised if I ask for a restaurant recommendation. Still looking. I'm from rural Eastern North Carolina, where I spent years doing campaign and party work in small towns and red districts, the kind of places that teach you to stretch every dollar and every volunteer hour because you don't have the luxury of not doing that. It also teaches you that you have to wear a lot of hats, since there's rarely enough staff to do one job, right? I come to this job from a few different angles. I've been a candidate, a party officer, a consultant, and campaign staff, as well as coming from a background in marketing. Every one of those seats has taught me the same lesson. Good data isn't just numbers, it's the difference between guessing and knowing. That's what I'm bringing to this role. Looking ahead, I want to help build a stronger, more blue Arkansas. And I'm here as both a resource and a partner. Whether you need to know how many likely Dems are in an area, or you want to think and kind of look at micro targeting and the why behind what the data actually shows, I'm the guy. And whatever hat I need to wear to get us there, I'm a team player who's glad to put it on. And I'm looking forward to getting to know and working with all of you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We're glad you're here. We're excited that you're here. Like I said, this is only his second day in the office. So we decided we would throw him on here immediately to introduce himself. But we're glad to have him. we're excited to have him as part of the team. So welcome. Next slide, please. All right, we're about to have Chad Easley, who is our chair of the Polk County Democratic Party talk. This is a new thing that we're doing. What we're going to try and do from now on in the hub and then also in our newsletter is highlight a county party to give them an opportunity to take a few minutes to talk about what they're doing and what's working and what they're able to accomplish. We also want to give this as an opportunity. I wish we all had unlimited resources, but we don't. But the Polk County Democrats are doing some amazing stuff, and Chad and I were talking about it, and I wanted him to highlight this and also offer an opportunity to folks across the state to see what they're doing and maybe see how they can support. And he's going to explain that a little bit. But again, what you'll see going forward is that we will highlight a county party and then highlight that same county party in our newsletter that we send out on a monthly basis. And so I am going to turn it over to Polk County Chair Chad Easley, sir. And you're still on mute, Chad. Chad, I can see you, but I can't hear you.
How about now?
Gotcha. Gotcha now, brother.
Thank you, Marcus, for giving us this opportunity here in Polk County to speak with everybody that might be aligned in our thinking. I want to thank Micah for helping with some of the technology conflicts with getting some slides put together. We have been working really hard in Polk County. We have, ever since the first No Kings rally, where we put 500 plus people around our Polk County courthouse and really just bumfuzzled a lot of the residents of this area who had no idea that there were even Democrats here. And that's a shame. That's something that's on us, but we have done a lot to make a lot of noise in this area. What this current administration is doing is turning a lot of people south. They're not behind what's going on. Even in our Polk County, that's very red. But again, I don't want to say that any Arkansas is really red. It's undervoted. And if we had more people getting out to the polls, and if we were to turn more of these people, we're definitely purple. We're just undervoted. Next slide, please. We were very lucky to be donated a very, probably 100 plus years old house on 4th Street in Russellville. And I don't know how familiar anybody is with Russellville, but 4th Street, we are across from a Taco Bell, which has been a Tex-Mex staple for Polk County residents for 40 plus years. 4th Street is a very high traffic cut across from the east to the west side of town. Very good location. Kind of funny, the individual that loaned it to us, well, he's been out as a gay man for his entirety of working in Polk County. Only now was he ready to come out as a Democrat. Next slide, please. We did our best to turn this house into a very welcoming headquarters. It had been vacant for a good long time. It took a lot of work. I don't know if you could see on the first slide, but the floors were painted. We've sanded them. It's very homey, very welcome. And we want to utilize this for not just our purposes as a committee, but to have activities at least once a week to bring people in. We're going to be involved in some food banking, some backpacking for school whenever it comes up into play. We are going to do our best to make an impact in this community and really make noise. Is kind of how I'm labeling it. Next slide, please. This is what we look like now. And again, very high traffic, very visible. We are unfortunately stretched thin on our volunteers. Every Democrat knows that we all have causes, and it's not just one. It's generally 4, 5, 6 things that we're all involved in. Here locally, we have the Lattimore House, we have Neighbors Table, we are heavily involved with the River Valley Food for Kids. There's a church up above Dover that we help with their food bank. And I'm forgetting about 18 others. There are so many things that people are a part of, and nobody can take away from what they are already involved in for fear of that ball dropping whenever this ball is so important right now. Next slide, please. We have an opportunity to staff this part-time and have regular hours. We've always had headquarters on election seasons, but this time we would love to have less intermittent hours. Whenever it's staffed by solely volunteers, it's maybe open for 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and then maybe open 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon, and intermittently on whichever days that the volunteers are able to be here. And that doesn't suit very well to have regular office hours, to regularly have people stop by, to be able to advertise as such as when we're open, to be able to have events, to be able to orchestrate canvassing blocks every week or two, to orchestrate phone banking from inside the headquarters. We want to maximize this facility. And in order to do that, we kind of need somebody here to organize it and to keep it going. Next slide, please. We have put together an Act Blue. We've been part of Act Blue for a decade now, and we do have regular donations that come in just to help the party, but not many, not that much. We are looking for assistance. If you enjoy seeing Polk County make headway, we have friendlies down at the newspaper. We get editors or letters to the editor published regularly with the first No Kings. They were generous enough to, I sent them a very long letter just explaining to them, because there was a lot of turmoil at that time. People thinking we were going to incite violence, or our fear that there would be some violence incited upon us. But from that point, with the letter that I sent talking about how these are retired school teachers, these are the people that you open the door for at the convenience store, the ones that you're shopping in the grocery store aisles with, we have not had any real detriment. Even though we are progressively more visible than we have been in the past, it has been well received, and we would like to continue doing that. Next slide, please. So if you found it in your heart or in your pocketbook to be able to donate so that we can take one of these young individuals and give them part-time stability, to also give our office, our headquarters, our meeting place some stability as well, please do so. This is set up specifically for the headquarters campaign for the 2026 headquarters. If you do donate to it, it will be portioned off for just that. So if you are able, I hate to ask, but it comes to a time where we have to ask everybody for help. I'm more than willing to ask anybody and everybody, because this is important and it has to get done. And I thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for highlighting that. Thank you for doing this. For those folks across the state, again, this is an opportunity for all of us to assist in building infrastructure and building. We talk about building the bench and building the base of our party. This is a great example of what Polk County's trying to do. And what we've got to do to organize everywhere so that we can win anywhere, which is what Ken Martin is always talking about, is you can do that. So if you can, absolutely do what you can to support the Polk County Democrats. One of the things that I always point out, because again, we're constantly looking at numbers and data and demographics and what that means. People may not be aware. One of the fastest growing Hispanic communities in our state is in Russellville. And when we talk about how that is going to change things for elections in the future, you see how that has changed things in Springdale, for example. We can expect that the changing demographics of our state are going to have an impact on Democrats, are going to have an impact on elections, and supporting stuff like this in Polk County is a great example of how we connect with people, connect with voters, and get the message out about our values and what we're doing and how we win elections. So, Chad, thank you so much for being on this evening and talking about that. If you would, next slide, please. All right, we have two candidates that we're going to highlight. They're going to get a chance to talk with y'all as well, and then we're going to go into a have opportunity when that's done for questions and answers for Chad, for Representative McGruder, and then also for Allison Grigsby Sweatman. So I'm going to turn it over now to our current House District 35, but soon to be Senate District 9 senator when he wins this upcoming election to Representative Jessie McGruder. So, sir, if you would please, I'm handing it over to you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Jones. I also want to say a thank you to Micah for helping me get everything together today. Miss Wallace, she is truly awesome. When I was having difficulties logging in, she also stepped in to help me out. But I'm Jessie McGruder. I had a call 2 years ago. I was a candidate for state representative, and I can understand why a lot of you decided not to contribute to my campaign because I was a guy coming out of nowhere. I had never served any political position. I was a classroom teacher and a football coach. Well, this time I am an educator. I am a state representative, and I am most importantly a family man. So there are some slides that are available that show photos of me and my amazing family. But the thing that I need from you all is for you to support this campaign in the Delta. Here's the thing. If you look at the map of Arkansas, you have Central Arkansas, which is Little Rock, Arkansas, and you have the Delta, which is right now I consider West Memphis, Marion part of the Delta. You have Helena, West Helena, you have Phillips County, Lee County, St. Francis County, which are all Senate District 9. We are the last stronghold in Arkansas outside of Little Rock. Fayetteville does have some representation also, but we need to make sure that we continue holding seats. And we're doing a great job. We've gained seats since I got elected. We gained a seat out of Little Rock. Alex Holliday was able to get elected, and we need to continue doing that all across the state. But we also need to send a message to everyone in Arkansas and across the United States. We are not done by any means. We are still fighting for everything within our communities. Here you see a photo of myself and Senator Reginald Murdoch, whose position I am running for. He is term limited, and he also lives in Lee County. He's actually running for mayor this time, so we're going to use his campaign to help people get out to vote. We also have Phillips County, which is where I'm actually from. I've been in Crittenden County for 11 years now. It'll be officially 11 years next week. And we also have St. Francis County in this campaign. I'm like I said, I'm in Crittenden County. We have St. Francis County, we have Lee County, and we also have my hometown of Phillips County. So I'm asking that you all support me. Next slide, please. Of course, I was raised here in the Delta. I want you to see that photo in the background. There's me in the Senate. The Senate is on the top. I want you to help me transition to Senate District 9, along with Senator Grigsby Sweatman. She's running also. We need to gain that seat. It's very important that we continue supporting each other throughout all of this election season to make sure that we send a message. I believe, and this is just my belief, we're in the midst of a blue wave, and we need to capitalize on that. The last election cycle, we were in the midst of a red wave. And there were only a couple elections that we won, and my election was one of those. Also, Representative Lincoln Barnett. We both held, so we need to make sure we continue to doing that. I'm also a public school teacher. I used to be a football coach. I actually thought I was going to be able to maintain both roles, but I found out when I got elected that they trick you. So make sure Allison understands this when they tell you it's a part-time job. If you do it right, you're going to have to be over there a whole lot. So don't believe that part-time stuff when they say, oh, hey, 3 months out of a year. Yeah, right. Next slide, please. Here's a picture of my amazing family. The bottom photo is when I was running for House Representative District 35, and now you see my family as I am the running for Senate. We have one individual missing from this photo. I just added a daughter-in-law to the family. My oldest son, just got married, and she's missing from that photo. But it shows you if I can't get anybody to vote for me, I should be able to get my family to vote for me. And from this photo, you see my family is big enough for me to get elected to the Senate. And we represent from Phillips to Lee, St. Francis, and in Crittenden County. So I have family members in every single county that I'm running in. Next slide, please. This is some of the work that I was able to do. Last time when I was running for State Representative District 35, we had an issue with voting rights. You know, as a Democrat, it's hard for us to get anything passed, but we had an issue that our chairman of the election commission made a decision that we were not going to have voting in West Memphis, which is the largest city in Crittenden County. We had to fight him in court. We actually won, and there were voting locations there were 3 early voting locations during the election cycle. Well, this time we passed legislation that we were able to get passed to ensure that there are voting locations in cities all across the state of Arkansas that have a population of more than 15,000 people. So you must have a polling location. So that's some of the work that I was able to do. And you all know people who have served and people who are in politics. It's very hard for a Democrat to get anything done in a super majority where the Republicans control. But we were able to get that done. Not only myself, Representative Barnett, who you also elected, was able to get some legislation passed. So that shows you that us people here in the Delta, we're just not there for show. We're actually there getting some work done. Next slide, please. The successful passed legislation to require early voting centers, which I just spoke about. Standing up for teachers. Being an educator myself, I think it's very important that we have the Fair Teacher Dismissal Act put back in place. I did present that legislation. It did fail. I will present it again this next session because it's important that teachers have due process. Administrators can decide to get rid of educators at the drop of a hat, and I'm trying to ensure that teachers have to have due process. I will continue to fight for educators. Being an educator myself, I call my family the first family of education. I have a daughter who teaches in Little Rock. I also have a son who teaches here in West Memphis. My wife is an administrator. My sister is our special ed director, and my mom is a retired special ed teacher. So we represent the education community very well, but I will continue fighting for teachers. I'm always available. That's the most important thing. I have not changed my phone number. I do not plan on changing my phone number. If you need to get in touch with me, you can call me. If I said something, I meant it, and I stand by what I say. So I'm a man of character. I don't run from any issues. There's some issues that I disagree with, and I don't mind sharing that information with you. But what I need from all of you on this call is to support my campaign. Next slide, please. I want us to send a message. We need donations. We're always asking for donations. But in order to send a message, we need funds. If I'm covering 4 counties, which this election requires, we're going to need funds to have signs. We're going to need people working the polls at every location. When I was running for State Rep District 35, it was a lot smaller area, and I was able to cover it myself. But I need people in all these areas, so we're going to need funds to do that. So I encourage you to reach out to other people, share this link with other individuals, call people and say, hey, I heard this crazy guy who was a coach speaking on a call, and I want you to contribute to his campaign. He actually got elected, so I'm hoping that we get more people to contribute. And the next slide, please. We need volunteers for the campaign. I had people from Little Rock who came and volunteered for me last campaign. I had a wonderful lady by the name of Sheila Brockman who showed up, her and her husband, and waved signs and worked inside of the polls. I can't thank them enough because I said, if we want to continue being a stronghold in the state of Arkansas, we have to have people volunteering for our campaign. And she heard the call and she answered the call. So we need people to volunteer for the campaign, not only to give, which I'm so grateful that Ms. Brockman decided to give, and she decided to come and volunteer for my campaign. So we're asking people to do that all across the state. Volunteer your time, especially that Labor Day weekend. That's when we're going to do our sign blast. My community is going to go from seeing no signs 2 signs everywhere in Senate District 9. So I need finances to make sure that we can afford those signs and have people to put those signs out. So I ask you to step up, volunteer. Thank you for the time. I hand it back over to our chairman, Mr. Jones.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you for everything you've done and everything you're doing. And like I said, Jessie and I we talk in text quite a lot actually about everything that's going on in the Delta. He's kind of the person I reach out to when I have any question about the Delta. So I thank you for that. And again, everyone on here, you understand what hard work it is to be a representative, what hard work it is to run for Senate, and what an amazing job he is doing. So thank you, sir,
Thank you.
for all that you've done and all that you are doing. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
If you go to the next slide. All right, here in just a second, I'm going to hand it over to Allison Grigsby Sweatman. That's where we have slides. I know we do.
That's okay.
But we're going to hand it over to Allison for her to talk a little bit about her campaign. For those of y'all not familiar, she ran this race 4 years ago and did an amazing job. Such a great job that we kind of view this now as her time. And this is an incredible opportunity that we have with some hard work and a little bit of resources. We absolutely see the opportunity for Allison to be our next senator from Senate District 13. So I'm going to hand it over to her now, ma'am, if you would take it away.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Chairman, and thank you, Jessie, for the shout out. It means a lot to have a sitting legislator call me Senator Grigsby Sweatman. That was a little exciting for me. I want to say thank you so much for welcoming me tonight and tell you first a little bit about myself, a little bit about my district and the competitiveness of it, which is one of the most important things to understand about it. And then I'm going to tell you the direction the campaign is going and how we have a very clear path to victory that is getting clearer and clearer every day. So, like we said, my name is Allison Grigsby Sweatman, and I am a mental health professional in Central Arkansas. I'm an 8th generation Arkansan. I'm a wife and I'm a mom. And it was actually my time advocating for my kids. You can go to the next slide, Micah, that brought me, the next slide after that, that brought me to run for office in 2022. So both of my kids have disabilities. My daughter, Rosie, is in that picture to the left. She's very, very medically complex, has spent a lot of time in and out of Children's Hospital. My son, Bo, is there to the left. We adopted him when he was 3. He's now 12. His birthday was this past Saturday, which is kind of surreal to me. But this is a picture from whenever I ran the first time. And I say that my kids are the reason that I'm running, and that is because navigating the medical system that my daughter needed to survive early in life and the education system that my son needs in order to survive in special education here in our state is what brought me to politics, paying very close attention to politics and as an advocate for other families of kids with disabilities. And it didn't take long working in mental health to work with other families like mine and realize that the problems that we see and the things that we face are actually systemic. And it was that reality that got me to say yes to putting my name on a ballot in 2022. Additionally, the fact that this is the most competitive state Senate district in the entire state. And that was true in 2022, and it's even more true now. You can go to the next slide, Micah. So, I'm actually going to ask you to go to the next slide and then I'll go back to this one if that's okay. So I want to tell you a little bit about the district. So this is Northern Pulaski County. It contains parts of North Little Rock, Sherwood, Jacksonville, and Maumelle. And there's a little bit about the House districts that exist in it, but I just want to give you some of what I believe are the most important things to know about how competitive this district is. First of all, I want to say big picture. We are all here because we want to break the GOP supermajority that is in our legislature. There is no path to breaking that supermajority that does not run through Northern Pulaski County. Flipping Northern Pulaski County is the beginning of flipping enough seats to break the supermajority in both the House and the Senate. And the second thing I want you to know is that this is the closest flippable district by about 11 points. It is not even close. This is the best chance that we have to flipping a district from red to blue in the state. And then I want to tell you about the trajectory that the people of Northern Pulaski County have given us over the last decade. So in 2016, Donald Trump won my district by 12.4%. In 2020, that was cut to 4.9%. And in 2024, it was 1.53%, which is about 650 votes. So the people of my district have become more and more fed up over the last 10 years with what's been going on. And I would say that they are quite a bit more, even more emboldened since 2022, because we have a governor who is showing that she looks a lot like Donald Trump here in Arkansas. Trump in heels is what some of my volunteers have called her. And we have an opportunity right now to look at those numbers and know that this is the cycle that we will flip this district. Another thing that I want to note, we have the list of the 3 House districts that overlap with mine in Northern Pulaski County. And just a few months ago, we already flipped one of them to blue, handily, might I add. And Alex Holiday is my representative now. So that has been one of the most competitive districts that overlaps with mine and in all of the state for the House. And the momentum that was built on Alex's campaign is absolutely going to carry us into this election as well. Of course, he has to run again. He's back on the ballot. And again, he won handily. Another extremely, extremely competitive district is Andrew Cade Eberly's district in 67, which is the parts of my district that overlap with Sherwood and Jacksonville. And then over in Maumelle, Cassandra Mays is running, and actually my current opponent is her former opponent in that House district. So I'm running against a sitting legislator, but it's still an open seat because the current senator in my district is term limited. And then the final thing that I want to say about the numbers and what kind of bodes well for the future of my district as far as flipping it blue is that 1,000 more Democrats voted in the primary this year than Republicans in my district. The Republicans in the primary race spent $250,000 against each other combined. And so we had Republicans hustling, trying to turn people out in droves. And even then, after spending what came out to about $55 per vote, they still had a really, really close race and spent, like I said, $250,000 on each other. So all of that to say, what we see from the primary numbers also bodes really well for the future and for the upcoming general. Now I want to tell y'all a little bit about the way the campaign has been going. So Micah, can you go back to the most recent slide? This was our volunteer kickoff that happened about 6 weeks ago. We had over 40 people there. This was a picture we took at the end. We didn't get one at the beginning, but we had over 40 people showing up. We had people who have been knocking doors for cycle after cycle. We had people who were young Democrats coming from local high schools and from colleges. And then there were people who, for the very, very first time, were showing up because they heard about this campaign and they were excited to finally be involved in politics in a way that they believe in. I spoke about, and I often speak about, the hope that we have in this moment as people who want better for Arkansas. And that room, I don't know how to describe it other than it felt electric. It felt like the people in there were being moved to action, and that has been evident ever since then. Almost half of them have shown up and volunteered after the kickoff, and the other half say that they will do that in the fall when it's a little bit cooler, which I completely understand. Everything will ramp up starting in September. So we're knocking doors right now 2 days a week on the weekends, and we will be adding weekdays. In my campaign in 2022, we successfully had 2 people organizing and door knocking, and that allowed us to be knocking doors every single day of the week. And that's something that we plan to do this time too, whenever it is a little cooler outside and people are more willing to knock on doors. We've knocked on over 1,500 doors so far already, even with this heat. And our volunteers have already been and will continue to be the greatest asset that we have. the plan from last time in 2022, I'm really proud of the campaign that we ran in 2022, and I learned a lot because in between these two campaigns, I worked as the president of the Young Democrats of Arkansas, learned how to organize, learned how to motivate folks, learned how to teach them to knock doors and have important conversations on doors whenever we're canvassing. And now I get to take all of that experience and translate it into a leader of this campaign. So even though it's been 4 years since I did this last, I spent time organizing across the state since then. And that experience rolled me right into time as a candidate again this time. So that's a little bit about me, about the competitiveness of the district and the campaign itself. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for having me here. I'd be happy to answer any questions about the campaign and talk more about how we are going to flip this seat. And I want to tell you that every single dollar that you contribute to this campaign will go so far because of how winnable it is and because of how we know where to put our money. This is the second time with the same candidate that knows what she's doing. And I want you to know that every dollar is absolutely going toward voter contact, direct voter contact, and some of the best people in Arkansas who know how to win elections. And we are really, really proud of what we've done so far. And with your help, and only with your help, only together, I know that we can pull out a win. So thank you again for having me, and I look forward to answering questions with y'all.
Allison, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you
Yeah.
for all of that. Um, I'm kind of a geek, and so I can talk all about the data and the numbers. But I truly appreciate the way you broke that down about how competitive this is, and how competitive those House races are, and therefore how competitive your Senate race is. Thank you very much for doing that. So for everybody, if you have questions, please. This is an opportunity we've got, whether you've got questions for Chad talking about Polk County, for Jessie or for Allison, please go ahead and type them in, and then we have probably about 10, 11 minutes for Q&A, if there are any questions that folks want to have. I will also say that if you look in the chat now, there are donation links and there are volunteer links for all three of our presenters, and the campaigns and then the efforts that Polk County's doing. Those are all listed in the comment section of this Zoom. So if anybody's got any questions, please don't hesitate. And I'm not seeing any, which means y'all were perfect in your delivery so far. All right.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Carol Young, who has already contributed to my campaign. I truly appreciate it. I saw her, I guess she heard me say something, and I did a good job, so she's already contributed. I got the notification. Thank you so much, Ms. Young.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The question is this Zoom going to be made available? I will check with Micah, or Micah, if you can jump on and answer that
Micah
one.
has her hand up.
Yeah, Micah, are you able to unmute?
Yes, this Zoom will be made available. Absolutely. We will send it out after the fact, and we'll send out all of these links too.
Excellent. The Wide Dart Days of Action that are coming up, just so y'all are aware, there's going to be one in Crittenden County. There'll be one up in Northwest Arkansas. Where those are all coming. I am pretty sure that the YDARs have no problem with anybody joining. I don't think anybody's has an issue with that. They're just sponsored by the YDARs. Again, I will look to the young Dems that are on here if there's an issue or question about that. I know Allison's no longer a young Dem, but
They kicked me out because I turned 36.
That's right. But yes, if you want to participate in that, we can definitely connect you to the YDARs. They're just sort of the hosts of it and do the training for everybody to sponsor and participate. All right. Question is, can you donate to the campaign over the phone? Uh, you should be able to do that if you're on a smartphone. They can connect you to the link for sure.
Can I can I answer the question
Please,
about the Central
please,
Arkansas
please.
Day of Action?
Yeah.
Um, my campaign, as well as the House races that overlap with my campaign here in Central Arkansas, we are all talking to the Young Democrats about the Day of Action date, and it's not set officially yet, but it's definitely going to happen. You better believe it's going to happen. And my campaign might be doing a separate one beforehand, and so I'll like follow my campaign, Allison for Arkansas, on everything, and we'll share about that. But I believe that the Young Democrat one is going to be in early October. Like we're going to be doing it right before we start early voting. So you've got some time to plan to travel to Central Arkansas.
Excellent. Allison, there's a question on here about what is your recommendation on attracting young voters?
I feel like I if I knew that there was a young Democrat in the room who could answer this about like kind of how things are now, I would I would defer to them. But given that this is a panel, what I want to say is that what I learned the most by leading the Young Democrats of Arkansas is that the divide that we see generationally often when everyone gets in the room and starts talking about issues, whenever that is the focus, everything falls apart. And so, all that to say, grace for the sloppiness and sort of the first time jitters of being in the room in a political space, learning the ropes. Tons of grace for young people who show up to do that. And then finally, in a more practical way, I would say contact the local high schools and colleges in the area, if whether or not they have a Young Democrats chapter, and even if there is one student who is willing to help lead that, connect them with the Young Democrats of Arkansas, because they are going to impact their peers and influence their peers to show up in ways that far exceed anything that a county party could do on its own. Young people listen and hear young people out whenever they say, no, this is really making important change in our community. And just be open to surprises and give them a seat at the table every chance that you get.
If I may, and this is not a happy way of motivating people to the polls, but it is a very necessary way. Um, and I say this as a soldier. I say this as someone who has been to combat and someone who has done that for a very, very long time. Um, if you want to motivate young people to understand how important it is that they participate in the political process, if y'all noticed, we lost soldiers in yesterday in Jordan. Um, those were the first um, those were the first Gen Z soldiers that we have lost. And if you want to understand how the impact young people voting has, talk to them about the fact that their vote makes decisions on our foreign policy, and their participation in this process directly affects them. Because the 19-year-old we lost, that's the first Gen Z soldier that's been lost in the United States. That's a downer. I apologize.
Thank you for telling us that. I didn't know that.
Um, Talking about finding a group of folks in Van Buren County. Um, Sandra, we can absolutely make sure that anybody that wants to do stuff at Van Buren, we can connect them to you. Absolutely.
And I also want to say, if you are trying to get young Democrats involved in your area, and you hit any roadblock like, oh, I don't know, the school won't let us start a club or something like that, just know the statewide Young Democrats have encountered this all over the state, and you can reach out to them for help navigating that, because um, a violation of their constitutional rights to not allow a Young Democrats Club to start on campus. And that's something that when I was president, we had to tell some administrations. And it's not fun to be contentious like that, but it's really important that students are able to organize.
Absolutely.
And
All
being
right,
a
Maritza,
former teacher, I always learned that if you meet students where they are, it also engaged them. I had a tremendous amount of youth volunteers for my campaign, and they are still volunteering. They're still doing voter registration. One of the students even told me, we can't go to school without seeing somebody with your shirt on. So engage them, have conversations, try to understand what matters to them. And then they will also, in turn, work with your campaign.
Absolutely. All right, Maritza, I'm hitting the allow you to talk button. And if you unmute, then you'll be able to talk.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yes, ma'am.
I do a lot of voter registration, as some people in here know. Most schools won't allow partisan type people to go in and do voter registrations. Find an organization that is nonpartisan, like the League of Women Voters, or create an organization that's called Central Arkansas Votes. I created one here in my mind that's called Arkansas Votes. And that's all I need. And we created t-shirts that say Arkansas Votes. And we've gone into a lot of high schools, either with the league or Arkansas Votes, get into those high schools and register those seniors. The other thing I was going to say about voter registration is that there's a tax holiday coming up, Saturday, August the 1st and Sunday the 2nd. And there will be massive numbers of people near grocery stores and everywhere where people shop to buy materials for back to school, etc. Take advantage of that tax holiday and park yourselves, your voter registration team, close to, as close as you can get to a Walmart, a Target, a Harps, any grocery store, and grab them at the malls. We already have one set up. We here have, we've been lucky to get the partnership of a restaurant who has a big parking lot, and the back lot is right in front of the Walmart Supercenter in Rogers, Arkansas. And we've had events there where we've registered 100 people in a day. That's not always the case, but it's a great spot for us. And we're going to be there on August the 1st. And we're looking for a partner to take over for August the 2nd. So don't miss that opportunity, because you got to fish where the fish are, not hope that the fish will come to you. Thank you. And good luck to all of you.
Thank you.
Jessie, I don't know if you saw the question from Donna Rayford Gray. She was wanting to know what the voter turnout in your district in Senate District 9 looked like. I think she means in the previous election.
In the previous election, it was the very close election. Crittenden County actually flipped red instead of blue. So we're fighting that. But we also have more engagement in all of the counties this election cycle. I'm Phillips County. I think Senator Murdoch won by I want to say about 200 votes, and he won Crittenden County. No, he won St. Francis County by about 500 votes. So he lost Crittenden County, which is where I reside, but he was able to win every other county in the last election cycle. And also thank you, Ms. Rayford, for your contribution, and thank you, Ms. Hollingsworth, for your contribution to the campaign also.
Tracking it in real time.
Yes.
All right, so we've only got about 4 minutes left. So I think we're going to close Q&A if that's all right with everybody. And because I want to stay on schedule. And we've got a few upcoming events that we can highlight. And again, I always make this point, and there'll be a link at the end for campaigns, for county parties, for folks that have an interest or initiative. If you've got something that needs to go on the Democratic Party of Arkansas calendar, that's how we pull this information. Let us know, and we'll get there. As you can see on the 21st, the 8th annual Democrats and Friends picnic, and they've got featured folks in Carroll County. Kelly Graff is going to be there, our Secretary of State candidate. Democratic Party of Benton County, Democracy Readers Book Club. That'd be interested to know what y'all are reading. It'd be interesting. That is on the 25th. Also on the 25th is Boots, Brats, and Ballots. That's a fundraising event for Shamal Carter. Next slide, please. Polk County, your ribbon cutting. Excited about that, Chad. They're doing that with the Chamber of Commerce. Ribbon cutting for the Democratic headquarters. They're on 4th Street. As y'all know, the Clark County Clinton dinner will be in Arkadelphia. That's event attended by folks from across the state. It's not listed on here, but also be aware there is a rally hosted by our 1st District congressional candidate, Dr. Terry Green in Paragould. That's also on the 8th. On the 10th, again, Democratic Party of Polk County monthly meeting, and then a Shamal Carter dinner as well on August 11th. I think there's an additional fundraiser in Northwest Arkansas focused on our coordinated campaign on August 11th as well. And then the Jesse, you got your hand up, sir.
Yes, on August 25th, it's not on your calendar. I have a fundraiser at Dr. Chad Rogers and Eric McDaniel's home in Little Rock, Arkansas. So let's make sure we add that. I'll share that information with you. But I want you all to remember on August 25th August 27th in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Excellent. Yes, sir. And again, the Mount Nebo chicken
I'm
fry.
wrong. September 23rd. He just texted me.
All right. The Mount Nebo chicken fry is August 26th. That's always a good event. And then September 13th, the River Valley has a choice. That is the full ticket of Democrats is at that rally there in Fort Smith, and then the Hispanic Heritage Festival in Dardanelle. And that is on the 26th. And I didn't mention it, but I know also there's one tomorrow night, also at Eric McDaniel and Chad Rogers' house for Cassandra Mays. That's also if you're local here in Central Arkansas. And then Trudy, I'm gonna hit the allow you to talk button. What can we do?
Fayetteville, the Washington County Democrats. I didn't catch
Yes.
that. Maybe I did. Thursday, the 23rd, we're having a fundraiser, music, snacks, people fun, whatever, at Mount Sequoia. Did I miss that?
No, it wasn't listed here, but you were right. And don't tell Herschel that it didn't get listed.
Okay.
Don't tell Herschel it didn't get listed, please.
Yeah, what's that worth to you?
Yeah.
Well, we'll
But thank
see.
you for mentioning that. Thank you
Sure.
for saying it.
That's why I'm here.
Excellent. Thank you. And Mariella, I'm hitting the button. Yes, ma'am. You may have to unmute.
The date for the chicken fry is actually August 29th.
Oh,
Got my months mixed up when I was putting in the information. So it's the last Saturday in August.
okay. Last Saturday in August?
Yeah, so sorry that's on me.
No, no problem. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
All right. And if you want to, again, if you want to view our calendar, this is the link. And this is how you connect to it on our website. And then if you go to the next slide, and if you want to submit an event, please add an event here. Next slide, please. And our next hub call is going to be August 18th. And the focus for that, just so y'all are aware, it's kind of the back to school special. We'll be talking about public education. We'll be talking about vouchers and all of those, everything that surrounds that. And we've got two amazing candidates who also one of them is a representative but they're both incredible educators. Representative Dr. Diana Gonzalez-Worthen from District 9 in Springdale, and then Cassandra Mays from District 71 in Maumelle. And so they'll be talking about both education and about what Democrats are doing in support of that. And next slide, please. And the next slide, when it comes up, it's going to tell you that there are 105 days left. 105 days left until the general election. We've got a lot of work for all of us to do. If there's going to be a blue wave, it's only going to happen because we make it. And so thank you all so much for being on here. To our speakers and presenters, thank you all. We appreciate everything you're doing. We appreciate you running. We appreciate the hard work that y'all are doing down in Polk County. There are volunteer links. There are donation links for all three of those. I encourage y'all to, if you would, to support them as you support so many of our candidates across the state. And we thank you for the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing. And subject to any questions, we'll give it 30 seconds and that will conclude our hub call. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen Wynn. And people, let's make sure we win every election this cycle.
100%.
Excellent. Thank y'all very much. Chad, are you in the headquarters now?
I am.
I recognize the walls and the fireplace.
It's nice. It will come in handy, sir. We will do a lot of good with it. We are building this community up as we need to be.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Thank you all. Did I miss a question? Nope. Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to end it now. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.